Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today we're going to be watching a video conversation between Piers Morgan and Chris Williamson. And they're going to be talking about the benefits of alcohol or the pitfalls of alcohol. Why are we making this video? We are at a time in history where people are more lonely than ever. People are more stressed, have more anxiety, and the reason for this is because we are more and more exposed to a global world linked by the internet. Social media has hacked your brain. You're being prepared to be plugged into the metaverse, and slowly you are realizing that you are becoming more and more insignificant. And people are looking for every single way to get any type of advantage to help them propel themselves to the top. And why do people want to reach the top? Because they realize if they want to be of any significance in this world, they have to be deemed as superior to others. They have to gain more power, more wealth. And Chris Williamson is someone who's trying to, I guess, find answers to these problems. The solution to the dating market, to long-term health, to making money, gaining power, the quickest solution is that you have to be famous. Why is that important? Well, this conversation that you're watching is between two famous people: Piers Morgan, who's a famous British journalist, and Chris Williamson, who's a famous podcaster. And the opportunities that you receive once you become famous are never ending. In any facet of life that you measure happiness or contentment is significantly improved by fame. For example, if you're famous, your dating life will be much better. Sex will come easy to you. There'll be a queue of girls wanting to sleep with you, wanting to date you. Tinder Boost can't help you, right? Like, there's no amount of cold approach that you can do that will outweigh the results that fame can get you. Money making opportunities. If you are someone who's broke right now, if you're someone who hasn't made their first million yet, if you had fame, if you were a famous person, you would significantly increase the chances of you getting business deals, being able to monetize your audience. You could just sell merch for $1 if you had 1 million followers. And if they all bought one, you'd be a millionaire. Your social life will improve much more. You'll be constantly invited to parties because you're seen as someone who's famous. And how do you become someone who's famous? Like, how do we do it? Don't you might be asking, well, don't I have to be interesting, do something, be talented, do something significant with my life? And the answer is yes and no. Okay. Even if you're not talented or have any significant achievements to talk about right now, the best way that I advocate for you to do this is to decide to become a subject matter expert. And the field that you will choose this in is something that is already of interest to you, something that you are interested in, something that you are passionate about, because once you do this, it will never feel like you're doing any actual work. It will come very easy to you. You'll be able to do this for as many hours as you need without ever tiring. Along your journey, you will document this. You will document your achievements, your progress. And if you do this on a daily, consistent basis, people will keep returning to your channel to see how much you're improving. And once they see that you are improving, in two facets, by the way, not just your knowledge on the subject, but also your charisma in front of the camera, you'll become much more comfortable. People will get to know you, on a personal level, and they start cheering for you. They, in essence, become your fans. And even if you don't have no current achievements to talk about, but they'll see you gradually improving, you in essence become the underdog in their life, and slowly so you go from underdog to eventual winner. And therefore you grow your fan base, you grow your knowledge, and eventually you become the main figure, the main subject matter expert in your field. You become the point of authority, and in essence at that stage you've built your fame. You've reached the top, and then you can start making more money, exploiting the opportunities that you have, improve all areas of your life. If you have poor health at that stage, you can use the money that you're making to improve your health. If you um, don't have access to healthcare or doctors, for example, just because you're famous, you'll be able to send someone a DM, and they'll recognize that you are someone who's famous, that they would help. It's just naturally humans are evolved to help popular people. Okay, and once you reach a certain level of popularity or fame, um, and if you are smart, which is, I assume you're watching this, you are, you'll be able to start building a kingdom. And then once you have a kingdom, naturally, you'll be seen as a king, because you know who who has a kingdom? A king. So people will start attributing you as a king. You'll be seen as a king. Other kings, such as myself, will acknowledge you. They would root for you. They would want to do business deals with you, and then you become part of the upper echelons of society. You become part of the elite group, and all you've done is really dedicated some time to a subject that you're already interested in. All this other stuff, and at that stage, it's up to you if you want to cut out alcohol, if you want to party or quit partying. I mean, I love to party, for example. I love a night out. I love spending time with friends. You know, it's a fun time. It's a fun environment. You get to relax and kind of, you know, let your hair down at a party. And naturally, if you are a king, you'll be invited to my parties. If you go to royalinstinct.com and you want to work with me, we'll naturally we will go on this journey together. We will start building your kingdom. You can help build my kingdom, and we'll both conquer the world, go straight to the top, and then we can enjoy all the fun activities and fun parties that the world has to offer. Let's get into the video. Let's see what these two guys are saying. And remember, like, why do people watch these two guys? It's because they're famous. It's the only thing that's left if you want to live a good life.
You talk a lot about alcohol, diet, sport, all that kind of thing. Are they all interwoven? I mean, you're a fit guy, obviously, pretty clean living from what I've read and heard. Is that also part of the secret cocktail of contentment, or?
So living in that healthy lifestyle, living a clean lifestyle, in the hopes of reaching contentment. Yeah, I mean, if you was to improve your health, you'll lead a better life. However, what if you also, what about also the people who say they're 20 years old and they have um social anxiety, they're at a party and they don't know how to engage in conversation. Maybe they see someone of the opposite sex and they want to approach that person. Alcohol in throughout human history has literally been man's best wingman, in moderation, of course. Not binge drinking. Yeah, it's helped spark so many relationships. It provides courage. That's why they call it Dutch courage, for people to push their comfort zones, their comfort levels. And, if you take that away from a group of people, it's much harder for them to interact and form relationships. I mean, some of the best stories you have is when someone was drunk. Um, and Chris is saying this for someone who's been drinking for over 10 years, who was a promoter, who was part of the nightlife scene. And, now that he's in his 30s or however old he is, he's decided, I don't want to do that anymore. Great. You got to the age where you don't want to do that anymore. And that's a personal choice that you have to make. But, remember also the frame from where he's coming from. He's coming from this as a older person who's been there and done that, and also having done that has also shaped the person that he is today. It's helped him see where his comfort zone is when he's drunk, and then be able to explore that when he's sober and get into that mind frame and try and handle that level of comfort zone exposure when he's sober.
What's the answer?
The alcohol thing was interesting because I was a club promoter for a decade and a half. I adored working in that industry. I loved and was very proud of what I achieved. But I got toward the end of my 20s and realized that all of the personal development things I wanted to do seemed to be held back by me electing to ruin 36 or 48 hours, depending on how hard I went, every couple of weeks. I wasn't a big...
I mean, he's talking about this in terms of personal development. Personal development is very big right now. That it has been the last about 4 or 5 years on the internet, where personal development allows men to level up. And essentially why they're leveling up, because they want access to more dating opportunities to be able to attract members of the opposite sex. Which is why having muscles, going to the gym, leveling up your money, your income, leveling up your confidence levels are so big on the internet. And there's a whole thing called looks maxing. Is to make yourself look better, to improve your jawline. The biggest cheat code for all these things. It's great to have. It's great to have if you're into self development, do it. I'm not holding you back. It's a great hobby to have. However, you're already putting yourself into the mind frame of that you are not good enough. That I need to improve myself because myself as it is currently is not good enough. And in some cases, it's yes. However, people get addicted to being in this mindset because then they always are in the mind frame of, oh, when I achieve this, then this will happen and I'll be happy. So a lot of guys get into, let's take the gym, for example. They think, all right, if I go to the gym, if I grow bigger muscles, I'll be happy because I'll attract a more attractive partner. I can get into a relationship and then I'll be happy. That isn't always the case because, like, there's always going to be someone bigger than you. There's always going to be someone with more muscles than you. If you're constantly comparing, waiting to achieve this, you might never find contentment. Plus, right? And this is the cheat code, right? If you are who you are right now, the same person, right? You're a skinny, scrawny 15-year-old. You look like shit. You're spotty faced, but all of a sudden you're famous. Your face is recognized around the world. Like, your dating life will improve just like that. The amount of money you can make will increase just like that. So fame is the magic pill, okay? And how do we achieve fame? On this channel, what I encourage you to do is to become a subject matter expert. And I'm looking for 100 people who I can work alongside with, who are willing to go through this journey, who are willing to invest in themselves and decide that, I've had enough of living a second class lifestyle and I'm ready to upgrade and live that first class lifestyle. And if you want to work with me, I can help you achieve that. We'll make you become a subject matter expert. We'll send you straight to the top. People will become your fans. People will be cheering for you. People would want to be part of your journey. You'll be seen as a leader. You will lead the next phase of human evolution. And you'll have access to all the women that you want to date. You'll never be lonely because you have the best friends. You have the best dating opportunities. You have the best money making opportunities. You'll never be broke, right? So if that's the type of life that you want to live, if you are excited about that, then go to royalinstinct.com, sign up to the mentorship. We can work together and figure out what the best course of action would be for you to achieve the life of your dreams.
big drinker. I didn't drink all the time, but I drank enough to kind of reset my meditation streak or my diet or my training or whatever.
I like how he's talking about meditation. I mean, look, like meditation is good. Meditating is great. It can lead to a clearer head, more focus. But you know, that's not the secret to being a millionaire. That's not a secret to being famous for dating the most beautiful women in the world. The secret is, and you can see it. Like there's people like Jack Doherty, there's people like Sneeko, who aren't doing anything of value, who are just live streaming their shit lives, creating chaos, creating drama, and just because they're famous, they get money and the best dating opportunities, and really that should be you in their privileged positions. Don't you feel like if you was given that privileged position that you would do something much more greater for humanity, you would help humanity, you would be a positive role model instead of a negative role model? It's a personal choice. I don't, if you want to be someone like Sneeko or Jack Doherty, then great. I don't judge, but the people that I work with, they have big ambitions. They want to be the rulers of the world. They want to build their kingdoms. They want to be seen as a king. They believe it's their destiny to be a king. And once they reach the top, who else are they going to be friends with? It's going to be other kings like me. We're both going to go on this journey together, and you'll never be lonely. You have the best friends. You'll never be poor. You have the best money making opportunities. Um, best dating opportunities. It'll be so annoying to you because you'll just have so many women around you that a new woman comes along, you'll be like, oh please, not another hot blonde.
And I decided to go sober, elective sobriety, and it was very, very useful for me. I found it unbelievably productive. I was very focused. I had great consistency, and
you can see that Chris Williamson is now trying to enter the male self-improvement space. He's done his podcast. He's talked to all the people that he needed to talk to, and now he's trying to figure out, how do I monetize my fame? And he's going down the route of men's self-improvement, which is why he mentioned no alcohol, going to the gym, meditation, and all these other things. And he's working on a book with Dr. David Buss about dating, to help men date. I tell you what, whatever he's going to come up with, and I'm going to read the book when it comes out. I'll look at it, and I'm going to tell you already, I bet you with absolute certainty that whatever in advice he gives is shit. The only thing that's left to do, and there's only a small opportunity that you have to do this, is to use social media, make content, to become famous, to become popular, to build a following. Because if you do this, if you go down this route within the next 2 years, you can still make it. You can still become successful before AI comes and takes over all the algorithms to stop any growth from any competitors. And before AI is able to make content on par with a human brain, in terms of work rate and editing and effects and stuff, AI is already there. Just the delivery of it, humans tend to trust other humans more than a machine. But there's going to come a point where the machine is so indistinguishable from a human that humans will just, oh, all right, I'm already watching a YouTube video with a human. What the fuck do I care if the good advice comes from a human or AI? And that will be the path where it's over, that you won't be able to do this anymore. So, like I said, you have a small window of opportunity to do this. You have, within the next year, you need to start posting content. If you're interested in doing this, if you understand what I'm trying to do, go to rawinstinct.com, sign up to the mentorship, and we'll make you as famous as possible. There'll be 100 other people alongside you and me doing this, building our army, building our following, making money, and making the biggest royal network in the world.
I actually preferred being sober to going back drinking. Now, alcohol is in a unique category of drugs where it's the only drug where if you don't do it, people assume that you have a problem.
Yeah.
People aren't asking you why you're not on cocaine.
Yeah. Are you
or
okay?
What would you mean? Yeah. It's whereas with alcohol, there's an assumption that, oh my God, there must be something wrong, because that's how ingrained it is into the culture. And for me, again, it's all about consistency. Consistency is the important thing. And if you want to make really, really big changes, you need a routine. And unfortunately, the British, Larry, lad drinking culture that we have, that I wholeheartedly contribute to and still think it has its place in a young person's upbringing.
Yeah, that whole drinking culture it is important because you have to understand this. So if you have fear, anxiety, and self-doubt, and you you go into an environment where you don't know what's going on, especially if you're a young person, and you feel that social pressure, that social anxiety, alcohol helps you reduce that level. Okay, now once you reduce it, you're able to express yourself more than you are when you're sober. Okay, and I'm not talking about getting blackout drunk. I'm talking about just one or two drinks to the point where you're a little bit tipsy. Now you can go the same person. You can go beyond your um, fears and self doubts, your own limitations, because you lower your inhibitions. You're able to go beyond that level, and when once the alcohol wears off and you sober up, and you don't get blacked out drunk, right? You can still remember the previous night. You're able to see that, oh, actually, when I was drunk, I was able to do this. Right, I was able to go beyond my level, my self constraint, my level of fear. I was able to talk to people very relaxed. I was able to express myself more. I was enjoying myself more. I was laughing harder than I normally laugh. I was much more expressive. So instead of depressing yourself, you're now expressing yourself. Okay, and then say you do this once with alcohol, right? Now you know what you're capable of, right? And then maybe you can now try to do this when you're sober, right? Like force yourself to push yourself out of the comfort zone, because now you have a frame of reference of how you were like after a couple of drinks compared to what you were when you're sober. So then you have to learn how to push yourself into that. So then you can be that type of person all the time. There's some people who then start using alcohol as a crutch. That's a dangerous place to be in, because as your tolerance level builds up, you just then need more and more and more and more, and then that's the point where it becomes negative for your body. But to do it once or twice as a young person, just to experience it where you're at, if you need it. There's some people don't need it, you know what I mean? If you don't, they're great. It's a personal choice. You have to kind of measure up where you are, if it will be helpful, and do it around people that you trust, so you can start experimenting with it. But don't be an idiot and let it fucking ruin your life.
Isn't always conducive if you want to try and make big changes in your life.
Do you end up, though, with, by default, almost a more boring friendship group? I mean, do you avoid people who like a drink and a laugh and a party? Do you end up having, by comparison, a more boring life? And is it consumed by people who are all pretty straight-laced and clean living? And for many people watching who are perhaps not as disciplined, might find that a bit of a turn-off.
That assumes that people who drink a lot are interesting. And in my...
I mean, just because you drink doesn't make you uninteresting. Do you know what I mean? There's interested people who drink, there's uninterested people who drink. It's just a tool that is used for you to be able to relax or go beyond your comfort level. Historically, people in the army used to use alcohol to lower their levels of fear and provide them courage in order to go into battle. So there is a use case for it, because it allows you to go beyond your own self-constraint, right? So if you're held back by your fears, but there is something you need to do, then having a drink can actually push you forward in that scenario.
experience
Yeah.
that is actually the opposite. So many people don't have friends. They have drinking partners, especially in their early 20s. They have a group of people that they go out and get wrecked with. They do not have a...
I think Chris is he's using this moment to kind of talk about his own past here. He's saying people don't have. I was talking to a lady who's a sports yeah, she does sports massage basically, and I had a problem with my calf muscle, and then she would massage it, my calf muscle, my foot, and I went there for several weeks, and then you there for an hour, and then I was having a conversation about, she started talking to me about her children, and she said she had a son who was 19, 20 years old roughly, and then she said, she was just telling me in general what these children were up to, and I said, oh, well, when I was 20, I used to do this. Used to go out with my friends. She goes, oh, his group of friends, they don't really go out drinking. She said when she was in her 20s, she would always, every Friday, Saturday, go to some pub, some club, some bar, and that was her social life on the weekends. She goes, this group of friends, they don't really go out. They spend time playing video games, and they save up money and go on a holiday once or twice a year. Just, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But there is no more drinking culture, really, in the next generation coming up, because they can't afford to drink. It's too expensive. A pint of beer used to cost you a couple quid, one or £2. Now it's like you go anywhere, it's like it's £5 a pint, and that's slowly, wages are stagnant. The cost of living's going up, then obviously people are not going to fork out money for a luxury that they can't afford. And that's the place where we're at. And then, the pub used to be the place where people socialize in their 20s. And if they can't afford to go there, they're not going to go there. And therefore, if you look at why 18 to 30-year-olds are, 30% of them, are not dating, are not in the dating market, are not having sex, it's because they can't afford to be in the area where you would date, to go where you would potentially meet someone. People meet online, unless you are, have the perfect pictures. You are not going to be very successful on those apps, and that's why we are ever so closely becoming more of a sexless and more of a lonely society. If you want to change that, right, the best thing to do for your life, to upgrade you in every facet of your life, in terms of health, your career, your money making potential, your dating potential, your social potential, to help your friends and families, to help your loved ones, is to become famous. That is the best decision you can make. If you also feel that is the right path for you in life, if you understand what I'm trying to say here, then then you should really consider building your kingdom alongside my kingdom.
Community of people that are really interesting to them. If the only way that you can hang around with your friends is to get drunk, to sedate yourself so that they actually seem interesting, that's not the group of friends for you. You can find significantly better friends that you can go out and get drunk, and maybe that makes it fun.
Okay, let me pull you up on that. So I grew up in a country pub. So I grew up around people when I was young who would come in, they'd be incredibly dull for about 20 minutes, have a couple of pints, and suddenly they'd have a life and soul. So I could see that alcohol, as long as it wasn't being abused, could actually be an enhancing tool to making people who are perhaps a little bit introvert or a little bit...
I mean, if people don't drink alcohol, they're going to find some other vice. Think about the amount of people who don't smoke alcohol, but who don't drink alcohol, but they smoke weed. The amount of people who do who smoke shisha, or if it's not that, then maybe they have some sort of food addiction. Do you get what I mean? It's some sort of vice is going to creep up somewhere along the line. So, look, I don't give a shit if you want to drink alcohol or not. I don't give a shit if it enhances your life, if it's a detriment to your life. I don't, it's a personal, you judge it yourself. It's a personal choice. My point is that Chris Williamson is trying to paint him out to be the savior of masculinity of men. And he's saying, oh, you know, if you drink alcohol, it's going to take you away from your goals. Most likely you won't ever achieve any of your goals, because there's going to be someone that's more famous than you who will beat you in every metric. So the choice is yours. If you feel like you need to be famous, if you feel like you want to upgrade your life, go to rawinstinct.com, and you know, you can work with me and we can help you achieve the life of your dreams, to make you as famous as you can, so you can date the most beautiful women that you can, so you can have unlimited sex, unlimited money making opportunities, and live the best life possible for you. Anyway, that is enough for today. Take care.